Most women are taught to push through their pain and what's going on with their bodies, but I'm here to tell y'all, your sacral was not designed for any of that. Hey y'all, my name is Monika with the K. I'm your womb health and cycle sync coach. And in today's topic for day 2 of our sacral reset program, we're actually going to dive into what cycle syncing is. And if you have no idea what cycle syncing is, listen up. Cycle syncing is not when people with uteruses, their cycles all sync up and they all bleed together. That is not what cycle syncing is, y'all. I know that's what it sounds like. It's not what it is. Get that thought from your brain, okay? What cycle syncing actually is matching each phase of your menstrual cycle to different routines, tasks, or goals that you may have. So for instance, you can cycle sync your workouts, you can cycle sync your nutrition, you can cycle sync pleasure, you can cycle sync how you lead in your business. You can actually cycle sync how you show up in your business. There are so many things you can cycle sync for. It's not even funny. And cycle syncing has truly shifted the way that I show up in the world. I promise y'all that I'm not kidding. So when I started cycle syncing, I think I discovered this when I discovered seed cycling, which is something different. We'll talk about that in a couple of days. But cycle syncing was something that when I started to learn the phases of my cycle, I was like, oh, well, let me look into this a little bit more. And then I went down a rabbit hole. That's honestly how this happened, y'all. That's how I got here. But I started reading the book In the Flow. And that book shifted the way that I approach everything, because it not only gave me the scientific background of why my body was doing certain things, but it also gave me the guidance that I needed to show up for myself. Show up for myself. Because a lot of times, y'all, I can be considered a very kind person to a fault. Over giving, people pleasing, all that shit. That was me. It was. But guess what? Not no more. I've actually learned how to say no, how to set up boundaries so that I'm not over giving or going over my capacity. I also have learned how to optimize my energy so I'm not burning myself out for stuff that's not even going to be on my radar in a year or a month from now. You know what I mean? So I'm in a space now where cycle syncing everything has made me a stronger person, more confident, and it's made my body toned to the goddesses. Like, my body has never looked so good. And I promise y'all, all I did was start cycle syncing. So cycle syncing is when you align the task and goals that you have going on in your everyday lives with the phases of your cycle. So for instance, if I wanted to focus on my workouts, right? When I'm on my period, guess what? I am resting. If it calls for a nap, Monica's going to nap. I'm going to nap. I'm not going to sit here and not acknowledge my body. Like, if I'm tired, I'm tired. I'm a nap. And so I'm a rest during menstruation. In my follicular phase, which is the phase right after menstruation, when you stop bleeding, I'm going to get back to my regular workout. I'm not going to go hard in the paint, but I'm also not going to go light either. I'm going to ease back into what I was already doing. And I actually incorporated lifting weights, which before I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get so manly. I'm so masculine. I'm not scared of that no more, because you actually need to strengthen your muscles in order to live. And I'm not just being facetious when I say, I promise y'all, you need to strengthen your muscles, because it helps you walk. It provides better flexibility and balance. You need all of that to survive, y'all. You do, for able-bodied people. And when you start to incorporate weights into your workout, that is going to really shift the game for you. But again, we're going to talk about that on a different day. But in your luteal phase, no, Lord, I'm skipping one. In ovulation, That's when you can go hard to paint. That's when you can be superwoman. That's when you can do almost anything that you need to do. But I promise y'all, it don't last that long. So about 3 to 4 days. So just know that. But when you get to your luteal phase, that's when you actually can optimize a little bit more of that ovulatory energy. And you'll be able to do some of those superwoman workouts. The phases of your menstrual cycle. So we first start with menstruation. Menstruation is usually that resting period. Thinking of wintertime, think of you're kind of in hibernation mode, but you're also planning, you're evaluating last month's stuff, right? And you're in that phase. You're probably curled up on the couch somewhere, watching TV, eating comfy foods, that type of thing. Next is your follicular phase. This is right after your last bleed of your cycle, your period. I'm sorry, y'all. I switch between period and cycle sometimes because that's how it goes in this society. But what I'm referring to is your period. So once on the last day that you stop bleeding, that's your follicular phase. And once you get to this phase, you have about, I would say, 5 to 7 days before ovulation or your ovulatory period begins. And in this period, think of it as springtime. Think of it as you're almost outside, but you're working up to coming back outside and to enjoy the fruits of your labor. And so that's about 5 to 7 days. And in this period, don't do the most, but you don't have to be in hibernation mode either. Now, in your ovulatory period, this is when you outside, honey. This is summertime. This is where you can talk to all the people, get the things that you want. You're a lot more attractive. You're doing all the things, right? And in this period, we really want to focus on making sure that even though you can go hard in the paint, that you won't overdo it, but this is a good time to be social. So go on the dates, talk to the people outside, do your negotiations, ask for that raise, do all those things. And then you get into your luteal phase. In your luteal phase, this is when it's broken up into two halves, because your ovulatory phase is about 3 to 4 days, but there's only one day ovulation truly happens. Okay, 1 day, 24 hours, if that. But your luteal phase can go between 10 and 14 days. And because it can go between 10 and 14 days, that's when we break it up into two halves. The first half, you can optimize a little bit of the energy from your ovulatory phase, and you can kind of go hard in the paint a little bit. You can still be social and be outside and do all the things. But when you get to that second week of your luteal phase, this is probably when you're going to experience some PMS if you have hormonal imbalance. And this is probably when you might not want to be outside. You probably want to start coming back inside. You want to start preparing to wind down, wrapping up tasks, doing things of that nature. And as you're doing that, you're preparing for menstruation, and then you do it all over again. That's phase of your cycle. And there are ebbs and flows. Every cycle is going to be a little bit different. I know we were taught that 28 days is what it's supposed to be. Guess what? Even the moon cycles ain't 28 days. If you really look at it, check me if you want to, but it's not. So just know that there are ebbs and flows, but a healthy menstrual cycle is between 26 and 32 days. And I need you, for the first thing to do for cycle syncing, first step, I need you to track your cycle, the total length, not just the period days. I need you to track the total length. We can talk about more about how you can specifically track for ovulation, because when you track for ovulation, that's when you can map everything out. You just need your period and your ovulation. But you need to track that. You need to track that. Because if you're not ovulating, y'all, that's not okay. Your body is screaming at you saying it is not safe to bring life into this world, regardless if you want children or not. That's what ovulation is saying. And that's why you ovulate. So if you're not ovulating or having regular periods, that's an issue. Please go seek your doctor or medical assistance. Okay? I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to inform you. All right? So you need to do that. So the first things I need y'all to do is track when your last period was and how long it was. If you are not tracking, start tracking now, please. Thank you. Also, learn to track ovulation, like I mentioned before. There are different ways to do it. You can track your basal body temperature, cervical mucus, and there's also their ovulation strips. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, the easiest thing for me is my temp drop. That you wear it overnight and then you sink it in the morning. That's it. So I like doing things that are very simple and easy for me to do and follow, and temp drop is it. Go check that out. And then after that, you want to track when your next period is, okay? And so once you have your period length and your ovulation day, then you can track to see what phase of the cycle you're in. But like I mentioned before, if you don't know any of this, try to reference what I was talking about during the phases of the cycle. Are there times where you feel like you want to be outside versus be inside? You can start tracking that and then track to when your next period is. But you have to track your period and ovulation. That's the key to cycle syncing. If you are on birth control, if you have experienced menopause, or if you do not have a uterus, cycle syncing is not going to be the most beneficial for you because you're not able to optimize on the ebbs and flows of what comes with having a uterus and ovaries. Not saying you can't cycle sync, but you're just not going to have the optimized energy. Okay, so don't twist my words. So there's that. Second thing, when it comes to cycle syncing, I need you to track your symptoms throughout the month. Are there certain days where you feel bloated? Are there certain days where you're eerily tired or you're just taking a lot more naps than usual? Are there days where you have extreme food cravings? Are there days where you don't feel like you? I need you to track all of those symptoms. All of those things are related to the ebbs and flows of what's going on in your body. And your body is probably trying to tell you that it has things going on and it's screaming for you to pay attention. Don't blame work. Don't blame the kids. Don't blame your husband or wife or partner, whoever. No. You're responsible for you and your body. You are responsible for you and your body. That's why I'm doing this work. I didn't really have people telling me to follow these type of signs. That lower belly bloating, if y'all didn't watch my first video, when I talked about this, I had a 13-day cycle. I had lower belly bloating that didn't go away. There was one point where I gained a lot of weight. And I remember I had one coworker ask me if I was pregnant. Rude, very rude, but I didn't know what was going on. And I thought 13-day period was normal because I got my period every month, but it was just 13 days. And that's not a question that they ask you when you go to get your annual. So again, we could talk about the negative side of women's health in the United States at another date. But right now, that's why I'm sharing this information with y'all. You track these symptoms, track the signs, do that now. I have a digital planner also that's included in my Sacral Reset Companion that can also help you with all of this. Because I don't believe in always tracking weight for stuff. I track body measurements, pictures, and also symptoms of what I'm going through. Okay. So I need y'all to start tracking that too. Okay. And the third step to cycle syncing, this is the most important step. Once you know the phase of the cycle that you're in, I need you to align the task or whatever you're trying to do, the goal, whatever, work, job. I need you to align that with the phase of your cycle. Okay? Align that. Because when you do, you will flourish and bloom and blossom like no other. I'm so serious when I say that. You're going to feel like everything that you've been doing has been a lie, and everything that you're doing now is the Holy Grail. Because once you align all of those tasks with each of the phases that it's supposed to go in, you're going to notice that your job is going to get easier. You're going to notice that your nose get louder, and you're also going to notice that your body looks right because you're working out based off of the phase of your cycle. You're eating for this phase of your cycle. You are leading in the phase of your cycle. You're not going to take no big old meeting during your period. You're not going to do no speech during your period if you don't have to. Or if you do know those things are coming up, you're going to prepare your body so that you're able to do that thing, that one big thing, and then rest. Because we're resting on our periods, y'all. That hustle mentality, that hustle culture is going to get you sick. Yeah, I said it. It's going to get you sick, and it has been making us sick for a very long time. And honestly, y'all, I'm tired of hustling. I don't got to hustle. I'm here to flow and receive and be in aligned. I'm not here to hustle. So if you are somebody that here's what I'm saying, y'all, get this sacral reset campaign. I'm pretty sure the activities that I have aligned with this topic is going to help you, like on some real. Like I try to do things with very, very good intention. And by me sharing my journey with y'all, by y'all watching this video, I know you're here to better optimize and align your body and your mind and your spirit and energy. That's all I got for y'all today, y'all. Comment down below if you hearing what I'm saying. If you hearing what I'm saying. Because like I said, we aligning all our tasks with the phases of our cycle around here. Because guess what? I'm in my ovulatory phase. That's why I'm making these videos now. Because I got to optimize on all of this energy before it goes. So I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Well, I'm about to go, y'all. So please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. See y'all.